Okay, so this is, we did this a few hours ago, but this is, you can feel this is a good state where it's at. It's still gonna be a little wet when I go to trim the handle, and I'll just have to be really slow.
Is that what you call leather hard?
Yes, that's exactly what leather hard feels like. But the issue is I had to kind of force dry it, so it's just the skin of it. We want to kind of slow dry it, meaning so you want to do this and just let it naturally in the inside. But when you see I start carving the handle in, it's gonna be really wet because it's only the surface that we have. This is, the body is still really wet. I gotta be still kind of careful touching this. I did put it over there. But so now what I can do is take my piece and I actually can go like this and look at it, it will not fit. See that? Oh, it fits just barely. But you can see it's still kind of wet a little bit. So it's stuck a little bit, but it'll be fine. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lightly trim this. And I think the only reason is because this isn't dried yet, so I should have had it over with the piece. So now I take this, I'm gonna lightly trim this up. And we want a little room to side to side to let it, this one. To room for the glaze. If it's too tight, we can't glaze that at all. And sometimes I don't even glaze this part. Normally I never glaze this or this. And the reason for that is I want to fire it with it. So I can't glaze the gallery and all that stuff. But if I do, separately, then I would have to put on a little tripod or something different. And the reason for that is sometimes if this lid is really wide, it can warp. This is pretty narrow and it won't warp as much.
When you say warp, like
It ovalizes.
bent.
So
Do you mean like the whole
top
thing?
of your form is, you saw that cup I did earlier.
Yeah.
And it was kind of off center. The top
Yeah.
kind of ovalized a little
Oh,
bit.
okay.
And that's just from the water, how it dried, a little crooked.
Okay.
So now when I do this, I'll try it again. And then I'm gonna take it, and what's nice is it's still on the bat, so I don't have to recenter it. And then I can put this down like this. Look at it, I can go side to side, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And when I do that, let me see if I can get that in the camera. The side, now it fits, I go side to side, and that shows me kind of the motion that I have of spacing. Now I can take this off, this is good. I'm not gonna wet it, I don't wanna wet it, because then I'm gonna take this and lightly clean this up. Again, I don't use a sponge, like I showed you on the cups, how nice and smooth those are. I just use the wood. Okay, so it's nice and smooth. This is a little bit more. Okay, now I can wire this thing off. Now I can start carving the top in. Now, one of the things we were just talking about earlier, if you guys weren't part of the conversation, which is fine, we were talking about she's having issues where some of her pieces, when she go to trim, they'd come off because these things are holding. Well, look, this is soft. But what happens is develop the skin over time. So feel that. Pass it around. And there's a difference to feeling this. This will attach to the bat much better. So if you're trimming a lot of pieces, your clay should still be pretty soft, but yet not sticky. If you are like, again, that piece you guys had is pretty soft, but it won't stick to the bat as well, and then your piece will come off of there. So and you can see it kind of cracks more.
Yeah, that was
this
cracked.
doesn't. This stretches. So if you're trimming a lot, these won't last the whole trimming period. So I always just change them out, just go get another fresh set of clay. And if I'm doing like 6 or 8 trimming, I might only use it for 3 of them, and then get another thing of wet clay. Will you grab that needle tool there?
Quiet.
Who brought her here?
She's getting it in there. Can't even. Can't be mad at her.
All right, so now I'm gonna center this, but this, I'm gonna center all the way to the bottom because this is where it's going into the lid. I'm not worried about this right now. So you can see down here, right there where it needs to go over.
So wait, are you doing? Can you flip it upside down? Do you have it centered right now? Is it centered?
Almost, but what?
I was gonna ask you, where are you putting your needle tool? Are you?
I'm putting it right on the edge because this is the
Okay.
part that needs to line up,
Yeah.
not here.
All right.
But we want to make sure this is centered
Okay.
because this is all going to get trimmed away. So this is center here. Try that again.
Sorry, I didn't.
It's
mean
okay. That's a good
I know how
question
hard
though.
it is to center.
And it makes it easier to see it when I lifted it off. So I'll do it again. And look at that, it's right on. I don't know how, but it is. Now with this, you're gonna take this piece and you're gonna get it underneath. If you only do it on the edge, like this, it wants to still tip. It's got this, it's a foot way under there. So we really wanna make sure that it's tucked under there. So I just take this, shove it underneath this, and pin it underneath.
Almost like a coil, right?
Hmm?
Almost like the coil.
Yeah, it's almost like a donut that's under there, but you're tucking it under it. Otherwise, what happens is people don't do it, it tips off because the foot is narrow. So you really want to make sure now when I push down on this, it won't tip. Now this is really wet, but it'll be okay. I'm going to show you the technique that I showed in the week. But I can now take this and start carving my handle right into it. Again, being really careful because it's really wet that I don't pull this thing off. I'm notorious for pulling these off because they're so small. If I have a lot of clay to work with, it's much better to have more than not enough. So yes, it seems ridiculous amount of clay I got to trim off there, but on a normal, if this wasn't so wet. But I'm going to show you what you can do when it's wet.
How do you trim something if you want it to have an uneven rim?
What do you mean?
Like, I made a pot where it's like,
Oh, uneven?
yeah.
Like the rim, so you just want to level it off as much as you can. So if the top, or question is, if the lid is kind of, or the rim of it is really uneven and it's doing loppy, you want to shove shims in there basically and get it as level as possible. Then you're centering it this way. So the clay underneath keeps it from rocking around, and then centering it this way keeps it, not having it all over. So you kind of got to center it twice in a way, but it doesn't take as much longer. All right, so this, you can see I am carving a lot away, but this I can make a handle right into this piece. Again, this is one option of making your piece here.
When you say handle, you're not like handle.
Like a handle, like a drawer pull.
Yeah, got you.
Or like this little thing here.
The
Yeah.
whole time I was thinking like one of these.
No, not like the cup handle,
Yeah.
but more of a little knob on here. Again, what I like about this,
Something like this.
yeah, oh yeah.
Thank you so much.
And you want to have it in a way where when you look at the, you can get your hand on this. And if it's too small or too smooth, then it makes it harder. So I'm gonna do a little bit more. I can get too crazy. I'm gonna leave room for Jeff to carve into. If I don't go too far down, I'm gonna go to that line, and that's about it. But I never carve the side because I already established the side there on the bottom. And one thing is, you don't want this to be really thick, because then it's really heavy. Again, it doesn't mean you can't, it's just, you try to do things aesthetically pleasing, sometimes that's weight. But what I'm gonna show you here is kind of a neat technique. But you gotta have the piece wet when you do it. And you can see I'm constantly pulling the clay off, so I'll stick it to it.
The only way to get those sticky things off is if you continue
Just
to
keep,
trim.
yeah, pulling it off or
Okay.
stop. So now watch this. So I put a little water on here. And this is so soft. Look at, I can throw with it again.
Wow.
And I can actually make another, like, different type of handle if I want to. And so if your clay is this soft, clean this up a little bit. Again, you can see I could just have it as a handle, but I'm going to close this in.
What about the air pocket?
Hmm?
The air pocket?
Yep, and you're right. And so that's when we put a hole in the bottom, and then the air can get out.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
you,
and then-
one of the things,
And then you put them, you fire them together with the whole. Oh, okay.
well, you don't even, but once, here, let me get this thing.
Wait, what the
This
metal
is a
piece in it?
pocket now that's in
Both
there,
together.
Oh, okay,
and
gotcha.
this is light, but he has a great point, and that's one of the things I was gonna say, but he thought ahead of me, so it's good. He's thinking, but there's air trapped in there, and that could pop apart. So what we can do is take a needle tool or a drill and drill from the inside, and that hole will be inside, and you won't have to see it. But this will be hollow instead of something that's really heavy and wet and all that stuff. So then I can form this, and this has got air in there now, so I can kind of push this which direction I want, and wide, whatever. But what's nice about this, what's nice about that is it's thick, which she's like, oh, he screwed up.
No.
But what's
do
nice
that
about
so
that, it
much.
can look thick and then it's done. But I have enough there, I can make another one. Watch me go. You know, and when you guys make mistakes or something unintentional, I used to make pots, and then that would get ruined, and then I'd make another thing, and then that gets ruined. I was making things this big, and when you make things this big, it's much harder, and it's more of control, and that's how you see me use other tools. And when I first started here, there's a lot of these students, you know, they're just a little bit younger than me back in that time, and they were like, "Whoa, look at my pots, they're really big," and I'm like, "That's pretty impressive, but you know, it's harder." And they're like, "What?" I said, "Make a really small piece," and they're like, "What?" And then they start, and then there's people that throw with pin needle heads. They use the pin needle heads to make the bowls and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
And there's people that buy those things, and I don't know what they collect.
It's cute.
They'll have, like, so your lava lamp there, you make it like that big. There's people that have like cabinets, and they'll have all these miniatures.
Oh, okay, that's, I get it.
What?
I get it now.
But they'll have all these, and people collect that stuff. So, again, it's always learning how to, you know, one of the things is a good craftsman knows how to fix their mistakes, because we all make mistakes. What happened there, I should have got, you see how wet it is? This thing is still way too wet, but squeeze a little too hard. Just what comes from the ground.
What do you mean? He's a teacher.
She was just laughing at us.
No, I didn't laugh at him. You guys laughed. I didn't laugh.
You did too.
I
got
did not. I
recording
was-
it. I heard,
I was
he's just like
shocked.
one of us.
Yeah. Did those stains
I'm not a
go on
teacher.
Bisque fire?
They thought they caught me. What?
Did the stains go on Bisque?
You can,
You
yeah,
underglaze?
you can.
Can you go on Bisque?
Is that the moon? It has triggers. I like it.
There we go. Back to it. So this is hollow, so it makes it lighter. If this was a solid piece, it'd be heavier, obviously, and harder to dry. This will be easier to dry as a piece. Yeah, you gotta check one there. Well, it's careful not to make it any. Just try not to touch that in there. Now I do have water on there, so I gotta let this thing dry before I even try to put it on the thing. But you can see now I have a handle that's in there. Again, you don't have to have that. You can make it flat, make your own little model or little skull and put it on there. Or you could just drill a hole and find something or buy something, and it could be like literally a drawer pull. And you know, they make little glass knobs and stuff like that. And if you want that as your piece, that's fine. I showed this because this is probably the harder thing to kind of understand how you get to this point. Because anything you got to add on is also another thing that could come off. But
Could
if,
you
it,
not-
if it formed into it, it's one. Yeah.
Could you not like score and just put a ball on top?
That's what you can do. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying though. But there's a chance the ball could come off because you're scoring and flipping. This, there's like the probability is almost none because it's all in one.
Gotcha.
So I could make this flat and then add this on later, but I don't have to worry about it. Or kind of the only way it fall off if I take a hammer and break it off.
Yeah.
All right, and then you have that. Again, I got a little more water on there, so I got to be careful taking this off of here. I may have to do a little bit, but you see how I got that? I'm kind of getting underneath and pulling that away to make sure I don't ruin the piece here. I'm not even going to try to attempt to put it on there because it'll stick because it's so wet on the head. I'll leave it for a little bit and then I'll put it on there. But you can see how that is now. Again, so many ways to do that. And then I'd had this trimmed already, but this is, look at how wet that is. Yeah, so I'll wait till next week to trim it. All right, we went over a lot of stuff today.